Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with Ripe for Reissue. Well, I haven't done one of these in a while. The cascade of deletions continues unabated, as does the reboxing and re-releasing of things. So it's really hard to tell what's going on in the business, considering the fact that they don't tell us anything about what their plans are in the record label world. I went back and looked over the 50 some odd videos in this series, and I see that some things have indeed been reissued. I mean, that was, very heartwarming, and of course, deleted again. So they're ready to be reissued. It's just unbelievable. Yes, they come out these box sets, which last for about, 2 or 3 days, and then in the universe of, record land, and then you have to go and find them on your own. And it puzzles me about, because people say, well, you don't have to get physical products, you can get things in digital downloads. But a lot of these things aren't offered as digital downloads. You can get individual LPs from pre-box days. But the box, as it is remastered and re-released, often as not, you can't get it all. It's all just, yuck. So I was, browsing through my copious collection around here and down in the overflow room, and I came across this, which I just couldn't believe could ever be deleted. It's Claudio Arrau's Beethoven Sonatas and Concertos on Philips/Decca. This is the Philips issue. It did come out on Decca, but not the same. It was repackaged differently, because they always have to do something different just because. And if they get it right, then they have to screw it up on the next re-release. It's just, mind-boggling. Because this not only gives you the 32 piano sonatas, you also get the Diabelli variations, the Eroica variations, the C minor variations, the Rondo in G, the triple concerto, and then the concertos with the Concertgebouw and Bernard Haitink, and the triple concerto is with Schering, Starker, and then of course Claudio Arrau. It's really a totally fabulous set. And a necessary set. Why is it a necessary set? Well, first of all, because Claudio Arrau was one of the great pianists that ever existed, and he made lots of recordings. Warner has issued a complete Arrau Beethoven box, but the piano sonatas aren't complete. There's like a dozen and a bit or something of piano sonatas. You get all the concertos, or the set with Alceo Galliera, and some people like that, prefer it as Arrau's best set of piano concertos, because he did them 3 times. There's this Haitink set. This was his middle set, and then the Colin Davis set. I think they're all pretty cool, somewhat different. But Arrau is major because, first of all, he lived to be quite old, and he was a student of Martin Krauss, who was a pupil of Liszt, who knew Beethoven. Beethoven gave him the kiss of benediction blessing when Liszt was like 11 or something like that, or 9 or something. They ran into each other. And Liszt, of course, funded the Beethoven Monument in Bonn and did the piano transcriptions of all the symphonies that we all love so much. It's really the best set of Beethoven piano transcriptions of his symphonies. And so there is a pedigree there. And it's kind of fascinating when you think about the pedigree, because it doesn't go back that far. We tend to, we have a very exaggerated notion of the significance of the passing of time. And so we have Claudio Arrau, who knew Krauss, who knew Liszt, who knew Beethoven. So that's 3 guys back from Arrau. That's all. And it covers 2 centuries. It's one of the most depressing things about our current musical life and existence is that we live in a sort of timeless bubble where especially the period instrument people think that they're rediscovering everything that has been lost forever. But it's nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. I mean, we have to establish a functionally healthy relationship with tradition and pedigree, because they mean something, and they've always meant a lot in music. Who your teacher was, and who your teacher's teacher was, and who your teacher's teacher's teacher was is a big deal. And you can't just disregard it because you have this collection of wannabe pseudo scholars who think that they're getting back to what the composer originally intended, when there is a tradition of passing down what the composer originally intended in so many ways. Not always, not everything. I'm not denying the value of the scholarship or of alternate approaches to interpretation. They all have their value. The question is, how do we reconcile this with what we know to be the received tradition in music? So not everything is you don't toss out the baby with the bathwater. I guess that's the bottom line. Anyway, these are really important performances. Arrau was, of course, his own guy. He had that deep, burnished piano sonority, very bass heavy. I love it. I just love it. It sounds so imposing and so rich. And he had, he believed in taking all the repeats in Beethoven, and he was, his tempos tended to be quite moderate and really a very distinctive approach. Certainly not something that would appeal to today's zippity-doo-dah, quick, brittle, sort of charmless Beethoven performances, mechanical tempos. No, he wasn't that at all. And so these are valuable. They're valuable performances for that reason alone, because they are evidence of an extraordinary tradition filtered through the lens of an extraordinary talent and an artist with extremely strong views about how music should go. And Phillips/Decca, what are they thinking? What are they thinking? This stuff should never be out of print. Ever. So there you have it. That's the word. Maybe another big Arrau box will get reissued. Remember, there was a big Arrau box that had all this stuff in it. It lasted like 30 seconds in the catalog. And then it was gone. So we'll see what happens. But at the very least, this should never be gone. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks so much for joining me. Take care.